Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're gonna make Korean barbecue style meatballs. Now, I've never made this before. This is a recipe. I looked at several different recipes, took components from other ones that I liked and kind of came up with my own variation of it a little bit. But we're having something with this that you'll have to wait to the end to see what we're gonna have with it. But anyway, so Korean style barbecue meatballs. This is kind of a sweet and spicy version. All right, so of course, first thing we're gonna need, we've got meatballs, so we've got some ground beef. We've got 85/15. Now, I'm gonna double this recipe. I'll make my final decision how I write up the recipe after we finish this, but based on other recipes that I've looked at, they start with a pound of ground beef, which they say will give you 12 meatballs. To me, I can't see going through this whole process and just, getting 12 meatballs out of it. So we're gonna double it. So, like I said, we'll clarify that in the written recipe, but if it ends up being that I use it with just 1 pound beef, that's when it might look a little bit different, all right? So anyway, we've got our ground beef. We're gonna need a couple eggs. Of course, with meatballs, you always need a binder. We're gonna need salt and pepper. We're gonna need breadcrumbs, okay? You can use any kind of breadcrumbs. This happens to be panko plain bread. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. You don't wanna use any kind of breadcrumbs. Of course, you don't wanna use seasoned breadcrumbs. You want unseasoned breadcrumbs. If you put Italian seasoned breadcrumbs in there, then you're gonna have, well, you'll have a fusion of meatballs. But anyway, you can use any. You can even use, I've seen recipes that use Ritz crackers crust up, saltine crackers. I think it's got enough salt in it. I used the panko because I had exactly a cup left in that container. So I said, okay, I'll use that. Gonna need some sesame oil. This is Gochujang spicy miso. I think that's the way you pronounce it. This is the first time we're going to be using this, and Wade's not that fan of really spicy, but it doesn't taste really spicy, so I think it's going to be really good. Need some low salt soy sauce. Okay, again, we've got a lot of other salt in here, so low salt. This is all going to be for our barbecue sauce. You need some brown sugar. You can use light or dark. I'm using dark today. I didn't have any light brown sugar. We're going to make a slurry, so we need some cornstarch and some water, and then we're gonna garnish it with some sesame seeds, and also we need some green onions. Now, the green onions we wanna cut them fine, all right, because these are gonna go in our meatballs. So, cut them up as fine as you can. I'll probably give these a little bit of a dice. Now, you don't need a huge amount of these. I would say 2 stalks. Again, I'll put the exact amount in the recipe. All right, and we're going to use just the tops of that. All right, and then we need some garlic. Okay, and again, I'm just going to take my garlic. We want this, grated, very small. All right, so which one is the smallest? I think that's the smallest, but I think this one will be good. So I'm going to use my box grater. This is a big elephant garlic, so I'm going to use 1 clove of it. We don't need a lot. We need 2 tablespoons of garlic, and then we're going to do some ginger as well. All right, so I'm just going to grate it up on the box grater. If you don't have a box grater, use just cut it as small as possible. All right, you got that, right? Okay, and then ginger. Now, I've never been able to find a good way to do ginger. They say if you take a spoon, actually that's working pretty good for me today, and just kind of scrape off that papery amount, or the skin. I'll do this all later so we can go on our other recipe. But again, the same thing. We're just going to take our box grater and grate it. And for 2 pounds of ground beef, we're going to need 2 tablespoons of ground ginger. All right, guys, simple as that. All right, we're going to go on with the meatballs first. We've got our oven set at 400 because we're going to need to get the meatballs in because they're going to bake for about 20 minutes before we make up our sauce. So we'll be back and we'll get our meatballs together. Okay, so in this big bowl, we've got our ground beef. We got a couple eggs. I'll do a little. Start getting them combined. In they go. Okay, we got our bread. Here, let's put our salt and pepper in. Get it nicely distributed. Got our green onions. Our bread crumbs. And we need 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons because I'm doubling this. If I wasn't doubling it, then we would do just 1. I don't think I've ever, I may have had this in, other Asian food that we've had, or Korean, but I've never used it, so. Put in there anyway. Oop, let me give my hands a wash. So all the other ingredients are gonna go in our barbecue sauce. That's where those have gone, but we're gonna get this mixed together so we can get it in the oven. All right, so then we just kind of wanna get this all combined. It smells good, that sauce. So. Some for the counter. All right, please comment in there, guys, that you either think I'm a messy cook or it happens to you too, because I can't seem to keep everything in the bowl. And you'll kind of get to know when that's done because you can start to feel it. It's, all nicely coming together. There's that adage, it says that if you are making meatballs or meatloaf or something like that, if you work the meat too much, it gets tough. I don't know. I either have never noticed it or don't have that problem. All right, so there's our meat all mixed together. I'm gonna wash my hands off. I don't know why, because I'm gonna get all messy rolling them anyway, but we'll be back in a couple minutes and get them on a baking sheet. All right, I've got a baking pan here covered with some tinfoil just to help with cleanup. I'm gonna just spray a little bit of Pam on there, or non-stick spray, just to make sure. I think there's more than enough fat in there so they won't get stick to it. But as I said, I've never made this recipe before, so I'm gonna use this little scoop. If you don't have a scoop, of course, you can just, use your eye, but I'm gonna try to get these relatively uniform in size. Of course, if you do a little bit of water on your finger. And we're just gonna roll those into little meatballs and get it on our baking sheet. And like I said, we've got the oven set or preheated to 400, and these are going to bake for about 20 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes, till they're nice and brown. All right, I know there's nothing more you'd like than to sit and watch me roll meatballs, but that's not necessary. So we'll be back and we'll see how many we get out of this 2 pounds of beef. Okay, I managed to get 27 relatively same size meatballs out of the 2 pounds. So we're gonna bring them over, get them in on, so I've got the oven in the middle rack, oven set at 400, and let's get them in there. And that should take 15-20 minutes or till they're nice and browned. see you then. I'm gonna let those cook, and then when we come back, we'll do the sauce. See you in a little while. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, and our meatballs are smelling delicious. In there, I can't see because of my glasses, but they look lovely and browned. So we can put those there. All right, and let's get started with our sauce. All right, so I got a frying pan there, obviously. All right, we got our soy sauce. And I've got that on medium right now. We got our garlic and ginger. And excuse me 1 minute. Get a utensil. Now we do want this to come to a simmer. Doesn't necessarily have to boil, but we want to get this warm. All right, we got some more of our gochujang sauce. We need 4 tablespoons of this. Oops. 2. I'll turn my heat down for a bit. 3. And there's 4. Let's give it a stir. We need, I believe, 1, so we need 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. Sesame seed oil. Of course, that's sesame seed oil is very potent, so you always want to make sure to measure that. In fact, I think I'm just going to put 1 in. Maybe 1 in a little tiny bit. And like I said, I'm kind of adapting this recipe, so when we write it down, I'll put the exact amount in. And our brown sugar. And like I said, I've got this on low right now, but we want this to all come together. We want the sugar to dissolve. So we'll give that a minute. All right. Now we need to make a little bit of a slurry. I'm gonna say we're gonna need about 1, 2, 3. So we'll start with 4 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water. Give it a stir out, and we just want to thicken our. Well, that's not going to be enough water. What was I thinking of?
1 to 1.
Yeah, it usually is. Sorry about that. So it's about half and half. So I would say, like maybe 1/4 of a cup cornstarch and 1/4 of a cup of water. Ooh, it's smelling delicious. And then we're going to thicken this a little bit. And of course, that's going to really depend upon how thick you want your sauce. You want it, luscious. That's the only thing I could say. You want it, maybe not quite as thick as gravy. And we'll just let that simmer a little bit more. Get all that garlic and raw garlic taste cooked out. And while it's just at that, not quite a boil, a simmer, that's good. Start to add in your slurry. And again, remember guys, you want to do this slowly. Although if you did over thicken it, you could always add a little bit of water to it. So yeah, I would say you want it the consistency of barbecue sauce. Any jarred barbecue sauce that you've used. Because after all, that's what it is. I think we need to be a little thicker. Put a little bit more in, and then I'm going to let it cook for a bit. Ooh, it smells delicious, huh?
It does.
A little bit more. I think that's going to be exactly where I want it. Be right back. See, I told you. Here I am. Yep, I think that's right where I want it, because it's going to continue to thicken up a little bit as we, as our meatballs get in there and sit and get warmed up again. Oops. Turn the handle. And hopefully we can fit these all in there. I'm gonna give these a little glazing. Who wants to bet a meatball's gonna end up on the counter? We'll get those all nicely coated. See, it's continuing to thicken up. See if we can get our last ones in there.
Careful to make a mess.
I'm not going to fit those last two in there. Oh no. Well, those will be for me. Is what? Well, when I take them out, I'll pour the rest of the glaze over them. But, all right, guys, there we have it. Hopefully, they're as good as they look and smell. Right now, I've got it off the heat. I'm going to put a cover on it just so it stays as warm as possible while I get everything else ready. Be back in a little bit. All right, guys, I've just plated them up, but I wanted to show you how much thicker that sauce is going to get as everything heats through. All right, see, that has become quite thicker than when we put the meatballs in. All right, and that was just about 5-10 minutes heating everything through, and then just sauce them. What do you think, hon? Should I do it as the 2-pound, the recipe, or?
No, that's 2 pounds right there?
That was with the 2 pounds of meat, yeah. Well, I guess maybe we should taste them. See how they actually come out. They look delicious. Like I said, I just can't, this, not that this recipe is hard, but there's several steps and it does take time. I can't see just doing a pound, because even if you're just even if you're just cooking for yourself, so you eat 4, 5, 6 of them, 7, 8, 9, 10, and, and then you'll have some for lunch the next day. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do 2 pounds in the recipe. All right, so we got all our sauce in there, and then...
So what they're saying now is 2 pounds. Right?
This is 2 pounds, yeah. And then we're just garnishing them with a couple sesame seeds. Little sprinkles, and if you got some green onion, you could also garnish them. And I think
that looks amazing.
That looks fantastic. All right, we're just waiting for our rice to cook, and then we can eat. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, we're back and ready to eat. Now, first, the surprise I've been alluding to in both of these, or in these 2 most current videos, is that we're having our coleslaw with our barbecue tonight. That's the surprise. I bet you all thought you were going to get an invitation to come back dinner with us, right? Yeah, like that would be a surprise. Anyway, let's test our coleslaw. So you're going to get the same tasting for each video, guys, but we're going to think it's going to do them separate. Yep, that is delicious. It is yummy, yummy. Of course, really, coleslaw is always even the best with barbecue, so I'm going to put a little on my plate.
Just like KFC's.
It does taste very similar. Yeah. But mine's better. All right, and then we've got our Korean. No, was it Korean? I forgot,
Yep.
guys. Yeah, Korean
Barbecue.
barbecue meatballs. Sweet and spicy barbecue meatballs. I've taken a couple of tastes and I think they're delicious. Let's see what you think, huh? I don't know if you can see, but those came out. They're nice and tender, and we got all our nice green onion and everything mixed in there. What do you think? Now, the spice
Delicious, yeah.
the sauce is a little spicier than the meatballs, so that's really kind of where you start to feel a little bit of spiciness come in. With Korean food, or in any case, the sauce is going to be really flavorful, salty, sweet, spicy,
Yeah, it is.
all at
I
once.
saw that.
So if you just took a big spoonful of the barbecue sauce, it'd be like, oh, it's so salty. But actually, that's why we didn't put any additional salt in that, is because we had the soy sauce in there. So,
Wow,
now,
that is good.
delicious.
Delicious. Yeah.
If take a little bit of your coleslaw and a nice meatball. Well, I'm just going to be quiet and enjoy eating the rest of my dinner.
Only 1 minute.
One Mississippi.
Please remember to like and subscribe and check out cherryhillhomecooking.com, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ciao.
Bye. He almost creeps up on you too. Oh, good.
Yeah, I think both of them came out really tasty.